And go live. 1, 2, 3. And we're here. Hi, Emmy. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm Chris Rouse, everyone, and this is Emily Tonke. Is it Tonke?
It's Tanky.
Tanky,
Yeah.
Tanky. And Emily was, or Emmy as I call her, she was in my level 1, and then you took level 2 with a different teacher.
Yes.
And so what we're doing today is we're just telling people like your experiences with it. And so I remember you from level 1 in the fall, right? Or was it last spring?
It was last fall.
Okay, so it was last fall of
Hmm.
2018. Okay, that's right. So what I love to ask people is like the biggest takeaway from your level 1 experience.
Mm,
We did the elements, we did Mercury, we did North Node, and we did Saturn.
mm.
Was there one class that really stuck out for you that was the most impactful?
Yeah. It's first of all, it's hard to dwindle it down to one because everyone is like peeling back a new layer. Um, but I'd say the one that's been like having the longest impact on me is just the first class on the elements. Um, yeah, it's crazy. So I learned with like my elemental nature, I have a ton of earth. And like the last several months, it's just been so evident to me tapping more into that because at the time when I started, I didn't really have that awareness of like, you know, all the earth I had, I guess, in my how I'm made. And my water was really like overpowering all the other elements in my chart.
Right.
Um, yeah, and so it's helped me to have more grace for all the earth in my chart, but also to have more perspective of like, you know, when I start to take life too seriously or wanting to have a plan for everything. And if, you know, something changes, it doesn't throw me off as much anymore because I'm like, okay, you know, I just have more grace for myself in those areas.
Right.
Um, and I know too, like, okay, fire and air, I have to work a little bit harder on using those elements. But
Right.
yeah, that first lesson is crazy. Also, can I tell you a little story about elements
I
actually,
love that.
now that I think about it? So I'm home for my brother's graduation right now. And last night was the graduation party. And there was a girl across from me that just kind of started like dabbling in astrology stuff. And of course it comes up because it always does. Um, and she was saying, yeah, I just started looking at my chart and I realized my sun, my moon, and my rising are all water, and I have a couple other planets in water. And it's like immediately, it's like you don't know the person, but I just asked her, I'm like, are you pretty sensitive? You know, are you a feelings type person? And the other people at the table just kind of started laughing because they're like, yes, like that is her, like it's crazy
Right.
how, yeah, it's just crazy.
I love that. And so that's a great way. Like, my other questions are like, so how do you use this in your personal and professional life? Right. And so just that awareness and actually even being able to bring it to her attention, maybe of like, oh my gosh, so that means you have a lot of water in your chart. And of course you're sensitive. And so it's
Yeah.
okay. Just like you
Yeah.
did with your earth. You're like, okay, I have grace now
Yeah.
with my little earthly beat up session.
Yeah. It
Right.
really is like holding a mirror up and just kind of showing yourself and showing other people like it's okay that, this might be your go-to or you act like this, like that's like your wiring or your design. And then
Yeah.
it also gives you the awareness to still make choices of how you want to, how you
Mhm.
want to deal with it. But
Right.
yeah, having the awareness is incredible.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good because then you can turn on your observer, which is what we
Mhm.
learned in that Mercury class, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And so you were the ones, you took a break from between level 1 and level 2.
I did.
And how do you feel that like was helpful for you or, with all that earth or the way you learned?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
that?
I knew I wanted to take level 2, but I
Mhm.
I wanted to come back to it. With the way I learned too, I like to dive like fully into things.
Uh-huh.
And with where I was at, like in that place, I wasn't ready to just like springboard into level 2. And so I was just glad to have a couple months off. It also gave me time to go back to the level 1 lessons, kind of go through them again, do my own like research a little bit and like see, because there's so much stuff out there. But what I
Mhm.
love about Debra's course is just kind of having something to go back to
Mhm.
see, because she's someone I really trust. And the students and the mentors, all amazing. So I really like having that to kind of go back to in doing, you know, my other research, looking at like other sources and stuff too, it kind of gives you like a foundation, so to speak.
If I had $1 for every time we said that on here.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
we
so
hear
true.
that repeatedly, that foundation of like, because I think there's a simplicity to it and the way it's broken out that it's like, okay, I can go back to this and that kind of thing. So you can really, as you said, dive deeper into each subject, like, you know, the weekly subjects that we did, you know. And then what was the big takeaway from level 2? What had the most impact for you there once you dove into that?
Again, everything, but if I had to choose, the script we got at the end, I don't know what I would have done without that, with my reading for the person that I had, because I can't even tell you how many pages of notes I had for this lady. Like, I went to town on her chart. I had like probably 3 or 4 more pages that I didn't even get into when we did the reading.
Right.
But yeah, it just kept me, you know, bringing it back to the most important things to really highlight for her. And then I had all this other information that I'm sure, you know, could have been useful, but the script helped me really like distill it down to the most applicable things to share with her.
Right, what she needs in the moment versus like the volume of her life.
Yes.
You know? And what's really affecting her now, like you going back to your earth and being like, I know I have a lot of earth and I know that, you know, like that kind of thing, you know, and just really understanding that about yourself. That's so good. And, you know, you are like every student, right, that has like literally an entire journal on their client, and that distilling and that ability to make it, you know, Debra's whole thing, like saying it's very foundational, it also has to be practical, right? Like, how is this going to help this person sitting in front of me? How can I be of service to this person in front of me? And talking to hear myself talk is not going to do it. It has to be something that's really valuable to them, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So that's so good. So that is one of the favorite things we hear about it too. So to be able to use that script. So you just finished level 2 this spring.
I did.
Right? Yeah. So you've done your practice client.
What's that?
You did your practice client.
I did my practice client. Yeah. And true to my Aries rising fashion, I guess I was the first one to do it from my class. So
you're like, I can sit and worry about it, and I can sit and like stress about it, or I can get it done.
Yeah, I'm like, let's do it. We're not going to procrastinate this.
That's so good. That's so good. So how do you want to use astrology in your world? What's next for you?
I just want to advocate like for its legitimacy, really. Like, it's so funny. My one of my friends, that when I first was saying that I was starting to like learn astrology more and stuff, it's kind of like that whole eye roll thing of like, really? Like, you believe in that stuff type of thing? And now he's always asking me questions about it. He actually got me a shirt, because I'll tell people, you know, you're more than your sun sign. Because so many people just know it as like, they'll like read their horoscope or what month were you born. So he got me a shirt that says, you're more than your sun sign.
I love it.
And it cracks me up. And it's so true though. Like there's so much more to it. It genuinely gives you so much compassion for yourself and for other people. I just think it's like one of the best tools we have for understanding ourselves better.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. And so being an advocate and like just keeping to tell people, like, of course you're not a typical Gemini because you have these other things going on in your life that actually means that you have so much water in your charts, or you're super sensitive, you know, and that kind of thing. And it keeps you wanting to be in instead of out, or whatever, you know, that language is, and just keeping it really simple. And as we're talking right now, your level 2 mentor, Kiki, just texted me and said that you did a great job on your level 2 reading. So,
oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
So yeah. So it was just, you know, those things that you learned, it really comes out and shines in that final culmination. And now you can use it with anybody you want.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've done probably every like personality typing system in the book, like either for work, because the work has had me take it, or I've just wanted to take it. And yeah, this is up there as like my favorite of all the things I've done.
That's a really good compliment. And that's so true, because Debra's system really is all about marrying psychology and astrology. And so we want people to really understand and accept themselves at the deepest levels. And so that's what it sounds like you are out there to go and advocate for. I love that, you little Aries rising. Go get them, fire signs. I love that. Oh, good. So if people were sitting on the fence right now, we're just collecting people on the waiting list right now, and we're opening up cart in August. What would you share with them to tell them about this?
Absolutely. Do it. Especially in the sense of having the community around you. For me, I know that if I would have seen that you know, I could just take the course by myself. That would have been my go-to, is like, oh, I'll just take it. You know, I'll shut myself in my room and like go through the course and learn. But throwing yourself into a community with other people, it totally pushes you out of your comfort zone if you're anything like me. But it's so worth it, having those other people to talk with, and understand, you know, you see more perspectives of other people's charts and your own chart. And it's just so amazing doing it in the community. So
I love that.
That's the best way to do it, for sure.
Community it is. I love it. Oh, good. It helps you really feel better about yourself, because you're like, oh, she has a lot of earth too. Oh, look at what, you know, and that we all have these, like, we're not alone in this, you know, this part of ourselves. Other people have these things too. So yeah. I love that. Oh, Emmy, well, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
I'm so tickled you asked me. Thank you so much.
It. Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. All right. Hold on.